Have you ever wondered why so many top students, those who always had the best grades in school, end up working for people who were never considered outstanding in the classroom? And why, in society, most successful people often turn out to be those who didn't shine academically? Back in school, teachers constantly reminded us, if you're weak in one subject, that's your disadvantage. Low grades in any subject will drag down your overall score and eventually affect your future. That's not wrong, but here's the key. It only applies inside the school environment. Once we grow up, we can't go back to that system anymore. The real world doesn't operate like an exam where failure in one subject drags everything else down. In fact, society is like the opposite of a test. Let me explain. In school exams, there are 2 rules. 1. You can't open the book. 2. You must do everything by yourself. But in life, society itself is an open book exam. You can learn, research, and study whenever you want. And most importantly, in this era of collaboration, the questions you can't answer, you can absolutely ask someone else to solve for you. That's the beauty of it. You don't need to be perfect at everything. You just need to be excellent at what you're naturally good at. That's called division of labor. The more advanced society becomes, the clearer this division gets. Each person becomes like a gear in a giant machine. Society doesn't need all-rounders. Society needs specialists. So, where do specialists come from? I'll give you a formula. Strength equal talent plus investment. Talent is what you love and are naturally good at. Investment is the time, energy, and resources you devote to it. Every single person has a gift box given to them by life. That gift is your talent. But first, you have to discover it. I know your life is busy. What I'm sharing with you today isn't something easy to absorb in just one listen. It's difficult to master. That's why my advice is, don't just listen once. Come back to it, replay it while you're doing chores, or in your free time. Save it, share it, make it part of your playlist. I can assure you, within just a few short months, your mindset will rise to a whole new level. Now, let me share with you an ancient wisdom and a practical method. How do you discover your true talent? It really only takes 3 steps. But first, don't panic. Let me tell you a secret. The vast majority of people live in a fog. They don't know their real strengths. They don't know what they're meant to do. So, living a good life is not as hard as it seems. All you need to do is be a little more awake, a little more aware than most people. Find your strength. Then use the tools, the opportunities, and the resources available to you to maximize it. That's how you step into your real potential. That's how you turn talent into mastery. And that, dear friends, is how ordinary people become extraordinary. From this point on, I want to invite you to redesign your life. I'll guide you step by step, how to recognize your strengths, how to discover your true field of talent, and how to use those strengths in the best way possible. But first, let's begin with a simple story. On the vast grasslands, there are lions and antelopes. A lion is born a lion. An antelope is born an antelope. Recognizing who you are, that is the starting point of everything. The lion must hunt antelopes to survive. The antelope only needs to run and eat grass. But here's the key. The antelope doesn't need to compete with the lion. It only needs to run faster than other antelopes, and it will live happily. Do you see the point? In today's internet-driven age, we constantly see people like Pham Nhat Vuong, Tran Ba Duong, Tran Din Long, extraordinary entrepreneurs and leaders. I respect them. I admire them. They are lions. But what does that have to do with me? I am an antelope. They eat meat. I eat grass. There's no value in comparing myself to them. As an antelope, I should only focus on my own kind. In other words, as long as I can surpass my competitors within my own field, I will win. And in this fiercely competitive era, that is enough to thrive. So here's the truth. We must find our strengths, focus on them, and push them to the maximum. No one is perfect. Every person has weaknesses. But as long as those weaknesses don't threaten your survival, they don't matter. Now, maybe you've heard of the shepherd theory, right? Also known as the wooden barrel theory. Unfortunately, this theory has misled many people. Let me explain. The shepherd, or wooden barrel theory, comes from an old parable. Imagine a wooden barrel made of many planks. The amount of water the barrel can hold depends on its shortest plank. The weakest piece determines the overall capacity. In education, this theory is often used to say, a student must improve their weakest subject in order to raise their overall performance. In other words, your weakest area defines your overall success. But here's the problem. While this may apply in school, it does not reflect how life actually works. Because in real life, you don't need to fix every weakness. You don't need to be flawless. What matters is how far you can develop your strengths and how effectively you can turn them into your advantage. That is the path to success. In school, we were all taught the same thing. If you're weak in one subject, treat it as your disadvantage. Your low score in that subject will drag down your total average, and that will affect your future. This is what the wooden barrel theory suggests. For example, if a student excels in math and science but performs poorly in literature, the theory insists that the student must focus on improving literature so it doesn't pull down the overall results. Now, this way of thinking isn't entirely wrong, but it only works inside the school system. And this is exactly why many top students who spent their whole childhoods trying to cover their weaknesses eventually end up working for those who were considered bad students. Why? Because those so-called troublemakers weren't trapped by this mindset. They didn't spend all their energy patching up weaknesses. Instead, when they stepped into the real world, they were free to focus on what they were naturally good at. And here's the truth. Society doesn't operate like a school exam. In an exam, there are 2 strict rules. You cannot open the book. You must solve every problem yourself. But in society, life is an open book test. Nobody stops you from learning, reading, researching whenever you want. And most importantly, in this era of collaboration, any question you can't solve, you can always ask someone else to help. That's how the real world works. You don't need to be great at everything. You only need to be excellent at the things you do best. That's called division of labor. And the more advanced society becomes, the clearer this division gets. Each person is just one gear in a much larger machine. So remember this. Society doesn't need all-rounders. Society needs specialists. Now the question is, where do specialists come from? Here's my formula for you. Strength equal talent plus investment. Talent is what you love and what you are naturally good at. Investment is the time, resources, and effort you dedicate to it. Every single one of us has a gift box given by life. That box is your talent. But here's the catch. Before you can use it, you must first discover it. And if you're not sure what your talent is, don't worry. I'll share with you 3 simple steps to help you find it. The first step is this. Recall. Look back. Think about your childhood. Think about the times when you felt completely absorbed in an activity, when you lost track of time, when you felt alive. That's often where your natural talent hides. Now, let's go deeper into the 3 steps to finding your true talent. Step 1. Recall. Think back to your childhood, and even up to now. What is something you've always done faster and better than others? Something that feels effortless to you, while others may need a lot of time and energy just to keep up? That natural ease, that's a signal of talent. Every single person has at least one, if not several, of these hidden strengths. Step 2. The sense of self-efficacy. Sometimes you watch someone do something well, and your very first reaction is, I can do that too. In fact, I might even do it better. That inner voice, that confidence without evidence, is what psychologists call the sense of self-efficacy. When you experience this moment, don't ignore it. Write it down immediately. This may be a talent you've never fully recognized before. Step 3. Achievement and joy. Now think about the activities that give you lasting joy and a deep sense of accomplishment. It could be something that energizes you, something you could do for hours without feeling drained. This motivation may come from your genes, the wiring of your brain, or the environment you grew up in. But the reason doesn't matter. What matters is this. Whenever something gives you both achievement and joy, chances are it's a natural talent that you perform more easily than most people. Once you've gone through these 3 steps, here's your assignment. Take half a day, prepare a blank sheet of paper and a pen. And yes, I recommend handwriting, not typing. On that paper, write down 30 things you most want to do. Don't filter, just let it flow. When you're done, look through the list and find patterns. Group together the similar ideas. Then, take a hard look. Which of these ideas have the potential to generate value in the market? In other words, which ones can realistically connect to making money? Finally, based on your inner desires, start eliminating, one by one, until you're left with just one thing. That one thing should be something that doesn't feel too difficult for you, something where your skill level is clearly higher than most people. That most likely is your talent. But finding your talent is just the beginning. The next step is to refine it, amplify it, and transform it into an advantage. Remember the formula I shared with you earlier. Advantage equal talent plus investment. If you only have talent but no investment, it won't mean much. Natural talent alone is never enough to stand out in the marketplace. That's why you must practice deliberately, intentionally, so that your gift grows into something extraordinary. And here's the challenge. As you go through this process, you will face difficulties. You will feel the weight of persistence. You will want to give up. That's why there is one crucial technique you must learn: the art of designing your own mechanism. Now, let's talk about feedback and how to design a mechanism that keeps you moving forward. Here's the key. Don't set goals that are too big. Break down your big goal into smaller, manageable steps. Each small step completed will give you a sense of satisfaction. And when these little achievements are noticed and praised by others, it creates even more positive energy. You'll feel more motivated, more confident, and more alive. Step by step, you'll start to believe, yes, I can do this. And gradually, you'll feel excited. Your brain will start craving this cycle of feedback again and again. Congratulations. When that happens, you've just built the foundation of a positive addiction. Once this cycle is running, you'll naturally push yourself forward, entering a self-sustaining orbit of progress. But here's the next stage. To achieve greater success, you must go beyond small feedback loops. You need to focus on increasing your value, because in the long run, small wins alone are not enough. Over time, you must ask yourself deeper questions. What is the impact of what I'm doing on society? How does my work help others? And what am I truly gaining for myself? When your actions not only benefit you, but also bring value to others, the sense of fulfillment you receive is irreplaceable. At a certain stage in life, you may need to spend a long period searching for the meaning behind what you do. And here's the truth. The combination of benefit and meaning creates a powerful belief. When you have this strong belief, you won't easily give up, no matter how many obstacles or failures you encounter. So how do you escape confusion in life? Actually, it's simpler than you think. Just master two things. Recognize the trend. Identify your advantage. Once you grasp these, your goals will become clearer and clearer. And here's something all great people share in common. They are long-term thinkers. They are patient. They never rush. They don't chase quick wins or gamble on short-term opportunities. Instead, they advance one step at a time, steadily, firmly, and always in the right direction. Patience is the ultimate key to success. Remember this: slow is fast. As long as you choose the right direction, you can use time itself as leverage. Small advantages, repeated and accumulated, will eventually build into monumental success. This is the only true law of achievement. Great chess players don't win because of some magical move. The ones who truly master the game, they win because every single move is solid, deliberate, and aligned with a long-term strategy. In reality, there are no magical moves in life. The true masters don't rely on sudden bursts of brilliance. Instead, they take steady, deliberate steps forward. And these are the people who often become the ultimate winners. The truly skillful are those who are patient and cautious. Their actions may look slow from the outside, but every step is solid. Every move is purposeful. They seize small advantages and, over time, accumulate them into great victories. Understand this: time is the decisive factor. The greatest sorrow of middle age is not that you don't have money. It's that by then you should already have had plenty of it. One day, you will wake up and realize that the people around you are not only more skilled than you, but they also work harder. That's when the real crisis begins. That's when anxiety hits, and you start desperately searching for a shortcut. But here's the truth: there is no shortcut to success. In this fast-paced age, we crave success too much. We are too impatient to achieve, too hungry for promotion, for recognition, for wealth. Many people dream of some secret martial arts manual that will turn them into the unrivaled champion overnight. But in the end, they are the ones who get deceived. Because in this world, there are two kinds of people who are the easiest to fool: those who are greedy and those who are impatient for success. Remember, time is indispensable. Those who live their lives achieving little are often those who wanted to get rich fast. But let me tell you this: The only kind of competition that is hardest to beat is competing with time itself. Every successful person deeply understands this. They use time to sharpen their competitive edge. They invest time to accumulate and to grow. So don't ask, how can I get rich quickly? If you are starting from the very bottom, if you are extremely poor, asking that question only proves that you don't understand the game. Instead, remember the law of time. Take 10 years to sharpen a sword. You can use time to refine your product, your health, your intellect, and your character. Stop chasing quick opportunities. Too often, people see others making money and immediately ask, is there still a chance for me? But they never ask, how long did it take for that person to accumulate their success? Many want to rise quickly, but in the end, they collapse just as quickly. The ones who seek shortcuts aren't really avoiding difficulty. They're skipping the destination itself. The longer you walk the path of shortcuts, the further you drift from where you truly want to go. So embrace long-term thinking. Accept the natural laws. Because in reality, there is no shortcut that is faster than patience. Even those who make money by luck or by chance when the opportunity passes, they're often left confused and lost. That's why, in reality, avoiding shortcuts is the only true shortcut. Think about it. Things that are hard to obtain are also hard to lose. But the things that come to you easily, they slip away just as easily. That's why we must learn to set our vision far ahead. Ask yourself, who do I want to become in 5 years, 10 years? Once you have that answer, you'll know exactly what you need to do today to get there. Step by step, patiently, steadily results will come. This is the law of nature. Sowing and reaping never happen in the same season. Seeds take time, growth takes time, harvest takes time. Sometimes, it is in the darkest, most desperate situations that human beings ignite their strongest willpower. If someone lacks determination, then nothing in this world can truly be achieved. But when a person, standing face to face with adversity, dares to push past their own limits, then greatness is born. It's just like water. A powerful river crashing down from a high cliff becomes a magnificent waterfall. That force, that beauty, comes only from the struggle against gravity and rock. The same is true for us. In despair, we may feel overwhelmed by fear, but from within that fear, from the heart of suffering, emerges calmness, acceptance, and then a breakthrough. That is the moment when sacrifice turns into power. When the spirit refuses to die, a new path of enlightenment is born. Remember, despair is never the end. It is often the beginning. After hardship comes joy. After years of endurance comes the chance to soar. 10 years of grinding effort may look like nothing until the right opportunity arrives. And when it does, you'll be ready to sprint at full speed. So if you are standing in the middle of despair right now, carrying pain and struggle, let me say this: congratulations, because your turning point may be just around the corner. In spiritual traditions, this is a timeless truth. The heart must not die, for only then can the path be born. Now, let's take this idea one step further. What if you've been feeling lately that your energy is low? Maybe you're making mistakes you don't normally make. Maybe your luck seems off. Maybe you've been feeling sadness without reason, or a heaviness in your chest that you can't explain. This may sound mystical, but it could very well be that your energy field is out of balance. Science doesn't yet have a tool to measure it, but the effects are real. It influences how you think, how you feel, and even how life responds to you. Some people will say it's just a weak mental state, or simply poor lifestyle habits. And yes, our diet, our sleep, our routines absolutely play a part, but energy runs deeper than that. And understanding it, nurturing it, might just be the key to lifting yourself out of the low points and moving back into flow. But what if you've already tried everything: better sleep, healthier food, even meditation, and still nothing seems to work? It feels as if some invisible hand is pressing you down, keeping you stuck. Don't worry. Today, I want to share with you how to improve your energy field so that each day you can feel fully recharged while also attracting people and opportunities that vibrate on the same positive frequency as you. And to make this simple, I'll give you 3 very effective methods. Method 1. Manage your own thoughts. One of the most common reasons our energy drops is because our inner world becomes chaotic. When we keep replaying regrets about the past, punishing ourselves with guilt, or holding on to sadness, all of that drains our energy. The truth is, those things cannot be changed anymore. What we need to do is return to the present moment. When you eat, just eat. When you sleep, just sleep. When you work, focus on the work in front of you. Do each small action with awareness, right here and right now. Allow things to come and go, without resistance. Now, I know some people struggle with this. They say, I just can't control my thoughts. I can't focus on the present. If that's you, here's my advice. Don't force it. Instead, choose simple activities that don't consume much energy but still bring you back into balance, like tidying up your room, going for a short jog, playing a sport, or simply sitting in the park under the sun. There's an interesting theory called the 20-minute park rule. It says that if you spend just 20 minutes a day in a park, no exercise needed, just sitting there, absorbing sunlight, you can already improve your state of mind significantly. Method 2. Spend more time with high-energy people. Have you noticed that energy is contagious? When you're around people with high energy, it's like charging your own batteries. But the opposite is also true. Some people are extremely skilled at draining the energy of others. They constantly complain, always radiating negativity. And when you listen to them, you get pulled down with them. Of course, this doesn't mean we stop caring about friends or loved ones, but when your energy is already low, the priority must be taking care of yourself first. Surround yourself with those who uplift you. Method 3. Practice self-praise and gratitude. One of the simplest yet most powerful practices is keeping a gratitude journal. Every night before you go to sleep, write down 3 things that made you happy during the day. Then, take a moment to praise yourself for those experiences. This isn't empty motivational talk, it's actually a proven psychological therapy. When your thoughts are positive, your mood naturally shifts, and so does your energy. And don't stop with yourself. Praise others, too. When you acknowledge and celebrate other people's achievements, 2 things happen. You make them feel genuinely happy. You release yourself from the cycle of comparison and envy. When you can embrace other people's success without fear or jealousy, you naturally become more confident in your own path. Now, at this point, someone might say, "But wait, if I just had money, all my problems would be solved." Money is what gives energy. The truth? Not exactly. Money is important, yes, but it is not the deciding factor in whether you live with high or low energy. I've met plenty of wealthy people, and not all of them are happy or radiant. Many have abundant material wealth, but they still feel empty, directionless, even depressed. That's why you cannot buy a positive mindset or a vibrant spirit with money. Real energy comes from within. It comes from how well you take care of yourself and whether you allow your mind to stay balanced, positive, and open. So remember this: self-affirmation is the most important source of high energy. Keep your mindset strong, nurture gratitude every day, and surround yourself with uplifting people. I hope you'll carry today's message with you. Whenever you feel low, remind yourself, I have the power to recharge. I have the power to rise again. Keep encouraging yourself, because no one can lift you higher than you.